Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Lads It's Tottenham podcast. I am your host for this evening, the caller, here with a Beavertown brew ready to go. Can't wait to get stuck in. And I've got two illustrious guests. They might look the same, but they're on different sides of North London. Joining me first, all the way from Vienna, it's the Harlow Globetrotter, HG. How are you, sir?
What strength are your glasses if you think we look the same?
I mean, we can do a poll. I think we can do a poll in the chat. If there's any admin in there, you do a poll.
Go and ask Pavel from Station Cars and see what he thinks. Yeah, I'm doing well, actually. It's peeing down here. Like, it went from like 35 at the start of the week.
I mean,
to
you're
like,
always bragging about the weather, so
I know,
I'm
it's
quite
terrible.
enjoying this. It's a sunny day here today, so
It's like 9 and cold and wet. It reminded me of England, so I got a little bit homesick, if I'm honest. But I'm doing all right. I'm certainly handling it much better than my Californian other half, who is struggling woefully. But yeah, on to Spurs.
Yeah, well, there you go. Look, apparently it's close and we're seeing double, but Stephen is on the other side of the North London divide. How are you? It's great to have you back on the show. It's been a while. Obviously, sadly, you missed out on the title again last season. So, hopefully you're okay with that and ready to miss out on it again this year.
Well, third time's a charm, hopefully. But yeah, I probably shouldn't go on Ancestry.com anytime soon and check my DNA in case I've got a Habsburg prince in my 150 yards behind, and a Baron von Schnittensnyder is coming into my family tree. But no. Like I said, it's always great crack come on this show. It's nice to talk football with people who talk sense instead of look for quote unquote banter. And yes, Sunday's going to be a cracker. Fingers crossed.
There you go. Apparently, we all three look alike now. So Stephen has to become a Spurs fan. He's outnumbered. I don't think there's any chance of that, but can I just point out the fact that I'm clearly better looking than these two gentlemen?
Look, we all know that you look like Swiss Tony. That is who you look like.
Yeah, I can't remember any Swiss Tony quotes, so I'm just going to have to plead ignorance there. Anyway, liking this show is like making love to a beautiful woman. So do hit that like button right now. If you're watching, let us know where you're watching from. It's great to have you on board. Please do make sure you subscribe to the channel while you're watching and play along at home. It's an interactive show, so we would love your comments, your thoughts, your witty banter as we approach the 756th North London derby. I did just make that up, so don't go Googling. Right, let's get straight into it.
We do look like a before, during, and after product for a medical pill that went wrong. I think. Now I don't know which order, but I'm definitely not after. I know that. It's one of those.
I'm clearly the young, boyish-looking one. Do get over to our Twitter/X page, Lads It's Tottenham, and do give us a follow. We would love to know your thoughts. But first, team news, and Ange Postecoglou has been busy today briefing the press on injuries or not so as it is. I think there's only Lancashire and Richarlison out. Everyone else has got a clean bit of health. Bissouma is possibly the one to watch out. They're saying he's 50-50. Personally, I think he will be okay. There we go. Only one with an issue. Good news, Van der Ven's back, and he's had a couple of weeks training extra while the team's been away playing pointless friendlies in world football. Solanke is back. Hopefully he'll make an impact more so than at Leicester. Who do you fear in the returning Spurs players, Stephen? Is there anyone who you're worried about? Solanke, Van der Ven, Romero.
Van der Ven's the key one, because the gap between years starting centre back and third level centre back is quite big, and he is key kind of the way you play. High line, quickest man in the league. To keep up with the likes of Saka and Martinelli, you do need someone to do Romero's running a little bit. So if he's fit, helps you greatly. If not, then we saw that high line of years against Leicester, and it's just time and time again. Let's just wait for you to push up to the middle line, then ping one ball over the top. It was amazing how often it caught you out. But if he's fit, then that allays that somewhat, and it's not so much how much you're going to miss players if they're fit. It's how many we're going to be missing on the other side, because we could be playing our second place midfield on Sunday.
Can I just point out that Van der Ven was present against Leicester?
Yes, that's my point. Like,
but like, it didn't stop that happening.
No, but true. But like, he got injured halfway through that, didn't he? If my memory serves me right, or he had like big
the Everton game. He got
it was the Everton game. My bad.
Yeah.
Same blue. But no, like it's he at least limits it. Like even when those balls go over the top, he's the key man for stopping it. You know, it's a bit like with us and Gabriel and Saliba, where Gabriel's the lad who goes for the header, Saliba's the lad who goes for just to sweep everything up. One goes, they both get hit. So you do need your best central defenders to keep up against us, and he would be key. Solanke, it's one of those ones where he doesn't seem to fit in the way you're playing at the moment. Like, you're throwing in crosses after crosses after crosses, and he's sitting deep. Like, it's Kane 2.0 for England all over again. So, you know, if he's been told, look, stand on the penalty box, stand on the 12-yard spot, and just stay there and make sure Arsenal centre-backs can't go forward like they like to, then he'll help, and that'll make room for Son. But is he going to do that? Is he that kind of player? I don't know if he is.
Excited to see Mickey back HG. I mean, as Stephen's already touched on, he is pivotal to the way we play. And I was on the Cheese Room podcast this week, and I highlighted my fears about the game. I was probably a bit negative, to be honest. Hadn't had enough to drink. But I did kind of say, well, with this manager, you know, he likes to play the defenders on the halfway line, two of them. And if Van der Ven's not inside, there isn't much of a plan B, is there, in terms of defending balls over the top? So must be really important to have him back.
Yeah, for Spurs, clearly. Like, I mean, it's not just what he does for the team. It's just that the fan base are rejuvenized when he's back, because we know it makes the team stronger, and you know, the atmosphere is going to play a big role on Sunday. And I mean, Spurs fans don't have a problem getting up for a North London derby, but still, when you go into it and you think, right, like, this is probably the best available 11 that we're going to have out. And Ange has choices to make, but still, like, there's no reason to not play the best 11. I don't think there's much of a drop between Bissouma and Bentancur anyway. But it's a weird one. Like, I don't like. I'm not excited to see Van der Ven. I have to say that. Like, I think it's great that he's in the team, but I'm just like, okay, he's a defender, great. I'm more interested about whether Spurs can actually get better going forward and take the chances the half chances that we've created a lot of this season. And so to me, it's always about, you know, what are we going to do in the front five as opposed to what we're going to do at the back two.
How has Dragusin looked? Just good. As out of, like, if Van der Ven doesn't play, right, and they're just going to, you know, be cautious on him because everyone's got 7 games in the next 20 odd days. Like, if Dragusin came in to play with Romero, would ye be more worried, or is it like you just like to see him get more games? Like,
I think we'd be more worried because he's not a great fit. You know, he's not left-footed, and we obviously think we need that. So if Romero, we're not worried about. The last time we played them, actually Romero played on the left-hand side and Dragusin was down on the right, which I don't think helped us at all, if I'm honest. So if that's the same again, and that plays, you know, and Van der Ven, maybe he's not around or he's on the bench or whatever, then I think Dragusin's been okay. I mean, he's only played maybe 10, 11 games for Spurs. It's not a huge amount. And towards the end of the last season, when he did play a few games, Van der Ven played at left back, so he was still around.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a weird one, but I don't think we're certainly happier that he's there instead of Sanchez or instead of Dyer. So there is an improvement, but we haven't really seen a huge amount of Dragusin, and when we have seen him, he's kind of played mostly on the wrong side.
Yeah, he's been all right though, and I think he has got that long raking pass. He's not as fast as Van der Ven, but you know, not many people are. But he's got reasonable pace, and his recovery has seemed pretty decent to me.
Yeah, he made a very good recovery tackle against Isak in the last game, where he was, you know, they're running through on goal, as obviously anyone against Spurs often is. But he got back and made a pretty good challenge. So I don't know. We're just happy that he's not Sanchez. I think that's the main thing. We haven't seen enough to really love him or fear him. So if he ends up playing at some point, then I don't think Spurs fans will care too much.
And obviously, this came out in the news this week. Tottenham Hotspur are the masters of self-harming, as I've said many times, and this is another example of it. So Bentancur has been charged by the FA. Apparently, the maximum ban he could come away with is a 12-game ban.
That would be ridiculous.
But, well, no, it would be ridiculous, Stephen, but it could happen because it's Spurs, because we are ridiculous. And, he, in case you missed it, anyone, he basically made a racist remark that said all Korean people look the same, which obviously is ridiculous and brainless. My view on this is should have signed a better DM in the window, knowing full well that this could be coming, because he's quite important to the way we play, isn't he, HG?
I think Bentancur is our best midfielder, certainly the most well-rounded. He can play a 6, he can play an 8. He's just good on the ball. I know he's not really reached the heights since his injury, but I still think it's there. But yeah, it's a weird one. Like I suspect it'll be one of those where they give us a really harsh punishment and then we appeal it a little bit and they knock it down a little bit. And the ban will probably start in the next international break. It will take them a while to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, they're busy at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of games, so have you guys. But yeah, if you take it, if it was a domestic thing, then if he gets a 6-game ban, well, that's all of until the next international break, and then a couple more. I think we have Man City to start after the next international break, so there's no good time for it. But I think personally, I hope that we play things out a little bit and maybe wait until October, November. So then all of our other injured players will be unavailable and will be completely effed. That is how it's going to work.
Yeah. No, like I said, I did see the comments, and they're not anywhere near the Suarez Everett level of, like, it's not racist, it's jingoistic. It's a cheap joke more than anything. Like it's like, it's not like you said all crazy. It's his cousin, and they could look alike. It's a bad joke. You wouldn't say it on air, but
he did.
Yeah, but he did it in another country.
But then, Stephen, he followed that up by launching a bottle at someone as well while he was on international duty. I mean,
like that. Now you could understand, if a lad got a ban for, but like I don't know. I'm a little bit. If the gas thing is it's his own player. That's the thing. Like, if he'd done it to an opposition player, if he said it about an Arsenal player, then he'd be like, "Oh, he's trying to antagonize him," or "Oh, he's being disrespectful." He did it to the best player in his club. And if has Son come out and said anything about it?
I mean, like, Bentancur has apologized and Son has accepted the apology, and like
that should be it.
Well, really? There are lots of people who think that, and I kind of do too. But the problem is that with the FA, it's all about image, and we can't. We've got a £1 billion industry that we want to kind of protect, and so like I think 6 games would be harsh. I mean, I understand that. I guess
I genuinely think 1 or 2 would be harsh. I think fine him, make him apologize, put him on some sort of course that always works when dealing with racist people, and go from there. Like I said, Son has accepted his apology. Like we don't have the right to be offended for someone else. You know what I mean? Like it's different between Suarez and Everett, because Everett was like, he called me it's completely different, and nearly took him to court over it. Son is going, yeah, it wasn't that bad, lads. So I don't like overstep. Like, I'm not being free speech. Like, yes, it's a bad joke, and he should be somewhat slapped on the wrist for it.
Yeah.
But 6, like, I wouldn't, like, 6 games, he wouldn't get paid. So that's what, 300 grand fine. Like, come on.
Can we move the ban to Brennan Johnson? Would that be allowed? Like, whatever Bentancur gets, Johnson will take for the club.
I mean, yeah, it would be nice, wouldn't it?
Will he play Sunday?
No.
He might. I mean, HG, give us your predicted 11, please.
Oh, gosh. My predicted 11, so we all know our back 4 and our back 5, if you could count the keeper. I think Bentancur will play, because I don't think we need to risk Basuma. I mean, we've got so many games. There's no need to risk anyone. I don't care if it's the North London derby. I think Sarr will start. I don't really want him to, but I think he will. It's all. If we might be very similar to what we were at Newcastle with Kulusevski kind of at the 9. I know that Solanke's fit, but again, it's half and half. Is he really? So we might go Odegaard, Son, and Kulusevski at the top with Maddison, Bentancur, and Sarr in midfield to start with. I will say this: I know Johnson came on and played very well at Newcastle and changed things around.
Whoa! I'm clipping that.
Yeah, very well. I mean, very well. He was better than expected. But I don't think it will work. Like, part of me thinks we should, right? Because he's got the pace to play over the top. So if Arsenal want to play in our half, then we give them something to worry about. But they're not going to worry about him. It's like I've got all the pace in the world, but it's Sunday. I don't feel like it today. That's why Johnson doesn't play. I don't think it's a question of characteristics. He just doesn't use the ones he's got. So yeah, he will be on the bench almost certainly, but I don't think he'll start.
I think it'll be obviously Vicario, Porro, usual back four basically. Midfield, Maddison's going to play there. I'd love to see a 8 of Maddison and Kulu there with Bentancur sitting deep. That's if Bissouma's not fit.
But if you do that, then you increase the chances of playing Boris, our right winger.
Yeah, there is that.
Yeah. So keep going.
Well, yeah, all right. Well, I don't think we'll do that. So, regardless, I think Kulu will be out on the right. I think Son will be out on the left. Solanke, assuming his fit, will be up top, and it'll be a midfield of Maddison playing as the 10, and then you'll have potentially Bissouma and Bentancur, or Bentancur and Sarr. That'll be what I think we'll see. I'd like to see 2 8s. That'd be sexy. Especially given how we absolutely dominated Newcastle like that. And domination. It was absolute domination in that second half. I know they scored a breakaway goal, which is always the threat with the way we play. Sooner or later, those chances have got to start going in. Trust the process, right? Trust the process. That's what you lot said forever.
That's the thing. Like we do play better with 2 attacking midfielders, right? Like Maddison and Kulusevski together. Yes, it puts a lot of pressure on whoever's behind them to really hold things up. And the fullbacks, if they go too far forward, we're in trouble. But it just, like who would we go with Son, Solanke, and Odegaard down the right as our front 3? Like I guess we could. It's very attacking for a North London derby, and Spurs fans right now, especially
I don't expect to see that.
Yeah, but like it's one of those things. Like to dare is to do, right? Like that's what we should do. We'll go out there and we'll outscore our opponents. Only we don't, and then we play all our attacking players, and then when it doesn't work, we've got nothing else. So it's
no. There's Johnson. You didn't name Johnson.
No, I didn't name Johnson. Yeah, I said there's nothing else. Yeah.
See, the only thing is, if you drop Kulu in as an 8, he works his absolute nuts off that lad. So I think you would get a little bit, you'd get a lot of defensive cover out of him. So I don't think it's a bad shout. But
I think King makes a good point here. That's probably fair. We could probably list everybody else. Like Solanke, if he's fit, plays up top. So Son will be down the left. And so it's just, but like to me, Kulusevski, in pre-season, he was our best player. He's played well in the league so far. He should be there. The fact that he's not is only because we can't really decide where we want to play him. If we had a proper right winger, then Kulusevski would be an 8. It would be done.
Yeah, agreed. But Maddison's been doing pretty well so far this season. I think he's played well, so I don't think there's an issue there. Look, my fear, as I said last night, is we just get caught on the counter too much. And Arsenal have got the quality to put us to the sword, but they will be without this man's quality. So Odegaard, you were telling me, Stephen, has got a football, an ankle the size of a balloon.
It's literally that big. It's massive.
I mean, that's a real shame. I'm really sorry for the poor kid. Why don't I get another beer while you're talking about how important he is to Arsenal and how much you're going to miss him?
Well, we're going to miss him maybe defensively more than offensively, if that makes sense, because him and Havertz at the top of, like, when we're defending 4-4-2, it's them two at the 2 number 9s, and they run their backsides off. And it's them at the point of the press that makes us so difficult to pass through, because then you've got Rice and Partey and then Saka and Martinelli to get through. And then you've got maybe the best back four in the league. So you have to get past those two first. Odegaard's gone. And now it's a case of who do you replace that with? Like, we've got enough players in the midfield to pass the ball and get through. Obviously, Odegaard's brilliant at it, but we showed, especially against Tottenham last year, where Havertz was, 30 yards inside his own half and found Saka with a ball and put us 3-0 up. So that his skills on the ball are great, but we won't miss that too much. What would miss is his defensive qualities, because we can't press as well without him. And if we want to play the way we want to play, which is with that high press and you're coming at us, that would have been our best shot. Being able to catch you in the middle of the park and break. We can't do that now. So that's where you might find yourself having more of the ball, just because we'll miss Odegaard defensively more than on the ball.
And I mean, you mentioned Rice as well. Obviously, he can't play either. So what are you going to do to protect that back four?
Pray, because it'll be Jorginho at the base. It'll be 93-year-old Thomas Partey doing his running, and then I would imagine they'll play Havertz in Odegaard's place as the second number 8. That would be my guess, because again, you got to play Havertz in that role because we've got enough up front. We can play Trossard, we can play Martinelli left, Trossard up front. We're fine. Trossard and Havertz then alternate, and we can somewhat keep that pressing pattern intact. Sterling might get a run out in the second half just to get some legs into him, but it's one of those ones where it's like you're going to miss Rice's ability just to eat yards, and same with Mikel Merino. He would have been great in this game. Like if we'd had Rice, Merino, Odegaard up against your midfield 3, good luck. Yeah. And that's what we're going to miss, that power in midfield that shields the back four, that just, make sure no one gets through it. We won't have that on Sunday. And that's where you might have more success. Like I said, you might think you have to get the ball out wide to beat Arsenal. You might just be able to go straight through the middle at times, just because it's Jorginho and Partey protecting the back four instead of Rice and Merino, or maybe, they might even play Timber at DM beside Jorginho and play Zinchenko at left back, which then suddenly opens up the right wing for everyone's favorite Welshman. So, like,
can I just say, I don't know who made this graphic for BBC, but if they genuinely think that Bukayo Saka is ever going to play left wing,
yeah,
like what on earth? It just makes no sense.
And then Trossard at 10,
even Sterling played on the left for Man City, so you'd imagine that they're thinking, hey, because left wing for you, it's not a problem position per se, but you don't have one that nailed it down. Like Trossard does well there, and Martinelli often plays there. But to me,
why is Martinelli not in this graphic?
Yeah. I don't know.
I heard he was on crutches after international duty. Is he definitely fit, Stephen?
Yeah, as far as we know.
Well, have you watched the Prezza?
Yes. Well, now, to be fair, Arteta says nothing impresses. He's worse than Wenger. He said Odegaard might be fit.
Right.
So there's no chance. None. So, he'll always talk up players. But no, as far as we know, Martinelli's okay. So, it's not one of, I wouldn't be worried about him. It's like I said, if, for argument's sake, Odegaard does declare himself fit and says, "Oh, I'm going to be grand," then that's what would worry me. That Odegaard convinces him to play him. He plays 45 minutes. He re-aggravates it, and then he's out for 2 months. That would be the problem.
Would you rather put Timber in defensive midfield than play him at left back?
Yeah, because we've got 94 left backs.
Okay, because I guess you've got Tierney. I guess is still there, and
Zinchenko. Tierney is injured, but we got Kivior can play there. If Calafiori's fit, he might be fit. Calafiori can play left back. So, and then Zinchenko, we really want to play attacking. But then Timber has almost been an advanced version of Zinchenko the first couple of games. He plays, when we have the ball, we do like 3-2-5, and Timber is in the 2, almost beside Rice. So, we have plenty of options at the back. At the back, we're fine. We've 8 centre backs that go, and all of them can pretty play in all 4 positions. So mixing and matching there is grand. It's Timber who has experience playing in midfield a small bit. And if he feels that Partey's not, because Partey's going to have to play Thursday and at City as well. So do you rest Partey?
33 now, Partey?
32, I think, is he?
I mean, that's how many years he should be doing in prison, to be honest. But it's a different story altogether.
You missed out with 3.
He did score a banger against us. Was it last year or the year before?
2 years ago.
Year before.
Yeah, I hate him. I absolutely loathe that guy for many reasons we won't go into here.
No, you get no argument from me.
But yeah,
are you outing yourself as a racist here, caller? These many reasons.
No, just don't like alleged rapists. I've been told to use the word alleged by our legal team, John.
Yeah. You do have to, as a broadcaster, you do have to follow the Ian Hislop rule of just putting alleged in front of anything, just to be in the safe side.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So yes, I don't like him. I hope he gets his leg snapped in half by Romero, if I'm being really honest. But we shall see. I mean, which is possible, to be honest. He hasn't snapped anyone for a while, but it's possible. Are you worried about it then, Stephen? Because you're not filling me with, I mean, I'm happy you're not filling me with belief from the Arsenal side of things.
Well, I think the first time I was on the show, I said, you asked me, am I enjoying it or shitting it? I said both. It's Spurs away. Like, logic doesn't apply. Like, this is like, even the refs are going to make it. Like, the FA stepped in and said, look, Arsenal's kit is too white. You can't wear home kit, which is nonsense. But Google Arsenal's away kit. I'm assuming no one here has seen it, because why would you? But we look like a can of Lynx Africa. like genuinely, like it's in we're doing it out of as a side respect to our African fans, like Nigeria, Ghana, etc. And it's black with green and red stripes and a little bit of white zebra print almost. It's a lovely shirt, but it looks exactly like a can of Lynx Africa. It's remarkable. So we're going to be trotted out like that on Sunday, which is going to look awful. I'm a kit geek and I like me red and white.
Not playing red and white, no?
No, they weren't black.
They're not allowed to, yeah.
They're not allowed to because there's too much white in the home kit.
Okay, I'm sure we played against you in white shirts with red. No, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. But no, it's interesting. Like, I can remember at least one game at the Emirates where we
wore grey and black.
Yeah, one of the 5-2.
And I hated it.
Yeah, and I was just like, why? Like, I mean, I'm quite excited to see Spurs in the blue because I like our blue kit. So when we play the reverse fixture, we have to be in our away kit then. That will be interesting. But yeah, it's unnecessary and too much white. Like, where is the white on the Arsenal red?
So there's a lot more. There's a lot more on the back this year. Like it's the Adidas template of it going around the sides, like the national kits. So there's a lot more on the back. And
that's why you're worse. You look more like us.
Yes, I subscribe to that theory quite a lot. When we did it it's 15 years ago now. We brought out a red shirt with basically a white stripe as the sleeves, like, and then we looked like Charlton. It was awful. Like it's very hard to mess up red shirt, white stripes, white sleeves. But we've done it, because now we can't wear that shirt away at a team that wears white.
So basically, it's so that, like, from behind, in effect, it will be more difficult to figure out which is Arsenal and which is Tottenham. That's why they decided that.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Like, I mean, I will say, like, the fact that it's the Australian ref. Like, I don't know why Spurs get Australian refs, because the ref is thinking, I can't do anything that might seem I'm favouring Ange here. So we always get a raw deal. So I'm almost thinking, well, if there's going to be one game where he's going to give us an advantage that maybe we don't deserve, it's going to be this one, because the drama would last for a week.
Did you see why Declan Rice isn't available for this game?
Was it Kavanagh, right?
No, it was no, like you see why it wasn't Gardner, it was Craig someone. But it doesn't really matter the ref who you get now. They're all useless.
Yeah, but that was a second yellow card, Stephen. Like, it was a second yellow card. He knows exactly what he's doing.
He does.
Okay, right. If you want to say that's a yellow card, then fine. But
and the other one was as well.
The first one could have been red, right?
Yeah.
But if infringement is a yellow card, then there were 427 yellow cards in the Premier League last week. That's the problem. It's not the fact that what he did was against the rules. It's the fact that that has never been applied in any game we've ever seen until then. And it's because the referee looked at it and he went, oh, the Brighton lads, after kicking him 9 feet into the air. I was like, well, he wouldn't have kicked him if Declan Rice hadn't have nudged the ball 3 inches out of the way. And he's like, no, the Brighton lad went to kick Rice knowing that he was going to clatter him.
Yeah.
That's it.
Justifiably so, because Rice is, very kickable, isn't he? He's got a face you'd love to punch.
Well, you should have seen the reaction he got in Dublin last Saturday.
Yeah.
And then he scored.
Yeah.
That's an extra 10-minute show that we'll record later on where we talk about.
Whereas Declan Rice, who now can't, the first person ever to celebrate against a former country that he played for. Interesting.
Yeah, well, then Grealish followed it up.
I think Grealish followed it up. But I actually knew a couple. Was Paddy Power had 40 to 1 on the betrayal double.
Wow.
Where for Rice and Grealish both scored, it came up.
Quite unlucky, to be fair. Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, we've got this wonderful stat here. I love John to bits. He's in the chat. So, John, this is possibly the most useless stat I've seen because it's undermined, isn't it, by the fact that Nottingham Forest have had more shots than anyone. But what it does show is we are getting near the goal.
What, as in, what is the goal? To shoot lots and not score?
No, as in getting near the opposition's goal to shoot.
The actual goal, the literal figurative goal.
The physical goal. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Forest played Southampton and Bournemouth. I mean, they've had some easy games, well, certainly difficult ones. Not that Spurs have had. Newcastle, I guess, is something we always do bad at. But yeah, after 3 games, stats like that don't matter too much. It's more like points is what matters, and we're 10th. I mean, probably we are about as average as it can get.
1-1-1. I need the advice of people in the chat. Firstly, I need your help. Can you all hit the like button? We've got 78 people watching right now. Please do smash the like button. It helps us loads. Costs you nothing. Takes a second. The subscribe if you like us. That's the extra. That's the cherry on top. But I've got an issue here. So I'm drinking some Beavertown that my significant other bought me for my birthday back in January. I've just discovered this is out of date by 2 months and it's 8%. Should I be drinking it? Let me know. And what are the consequences of said drinking? Because it literally says on the back, do not age this beer. So clearly...
the consequences of you drinking it will be us laughing.
Okay. Yeah. Chips in the morning, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
No.
I'll give you a welfare update tomorrow.
Thanks.
Stephen.
And a bill for your plumber.
An unlikely fan in the mix. Mr. Liam Gallagher. There you go. Come on, you Spurs. Mad for it, mate. I will double celebrate. I am in the Oasis ballot for tickets tomorrow. So, if I do get a ticket, hey, good luck. Well, I think I've got more chance than I had originally, if that makes sense, because they've sent selected invitations out this time and done time slots. So maybe more chance. But I did get Imagine Dragons tickets today, so I'm buzzing about that.
It's
so
not too bad, so
it's a win-win. Does it taste okay? If you does any 8% beer taste okay? To be honest with you, John, it's actually quite a nice drink, Beavertown. So
you put Ribena in it, don't you?
No, drinking it from the can, HJ.
But when you open it, when you undo it, then you can put stuff in.
I don't think Ribena would taste good in this. If I'm honest, it's a bit hoppy.
You don't want to know what they're creating lately. Like, what was it? A Gonster? So it's a Guinness and a Monster.
I feel very upset that I think it's Camden Hell sponsor your beer, don't they?
Yes.
Which really upsets me because
it's lovely.
Really nice beer.
Would you be one of those that
wasted on you guys?
Genuine question, because I will not drink Holsten pills.
Mm-hmm. I won't buy JVC.
Yes, Are we? Are we? Yeah. I think they are actually out of business. But just for the chat, are we the idiots here? Would you buy anything that's ever been bought by sponsored by Arsenal. Like, would
well,
you
I've never visited Rwanda yet, Steve.
No, that's yeah.
Wait, caller, are you outing yourself as a racist again?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I can't.
No. I can't imagine anyone sees the Arsenal shirt and visit Rwanda
And goes,
goes,
ooh,
"Do
yeah,
you know
that's an
what?
idea. Yeah,
That's an idea. That
Yeah.
I've never thought of that. Apart
10
from unless
10
you're an
million a year,
illegal
by the way.
immigrant, and then
I mean,
under
to
the
be
last,
fair,
you know.
I had never thought about visiting Rwanda until I saw it on the shirt.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
there
yeah.
is at least it's doing something.
10 million a year.
What's there? What's in Rwanda? Oh, illegal immigrants. Okay, I'm probably not gonna hop on that plane.
Right, yeah, back to the football.
Back to the football. Recent form. So as you can see, the Goons going along fairly nicely. Spurs a little bit bumpy, to be honest. I mean, the Leicester game, we should have won that. It really is a travesty. And then it all feels a bit better, doesn't it, HG? I mean, if you turn that to a win, we dominated Leicester, we dominated Newcastle, but you can't keep not scoring goals.
I mean, this is it. Like, if you looked at those fixtures, even for both sides, if you looked at them at the start of the season, you'd be thinking 6 or 7 points for both of them, right? Because Arsenal had to do it to Villa. They probably wouldn't have expected a win there. And certainly Spurs fans didn't expect to win at Newcastle, considering our history. So recent history, at least. But yeah, like not winning against a promoted side, no matter who it is never a good thing.
Leicester was shit.
And like last season, like Spurs got what they were by beating a lot of the so-called lesser teams. That's how we finished 5th. We weren't massively good, but we won our fair share of games. But it wasn't against the top teams that we won our fair share of games. Like I think we went to Villa and beat them, but that was about it. So dropping points against teams like Leicester hurt Spurs more than they should, because it means we have to pick up those points somewhere else, like on Sunday. Like it increases the pressure on Spurs for Sunday, because these are the games that we didn't win last year, and we've got to try and pick up the points.
Exactly how we got to second in the league. Since the start of the year, we are played 22, won 19, drew 2, lost 1.
Yeah,
and we didn't win the league with that form.
Well, we can have a conversation about the end of beginning of 2017, when we did something similar.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's rough. Like those
are the runs and form you need to do for, like you said, to get 4th, 5th. Just to get in that area, and you can't drop points. It's just not allowed.
Stephen, I've got a serious question for you.
Yep.
Where do you see? We did our predictions last week. You see, but I value your opinion as a veteran broadcaster and a misinformed gooner. As you shouldn't have chosen that club.
I will take that as the compliment.
You're far too nice to be an Arsenal fan. I just want to put it out there. Where do you see Spurs finishing?
4th or 5th.
Is that because you think we're good, or that there are just no one else is really good outside the top 3?
Ding. Like Chelsea are a joke, United are a joke. So there's 2 of them gone. Villa, God knows what that squad is going to do when they're playing 3 games a week. They barely finished the season playing 1 game a week. After they got knocked out of the Conference League, they stuttered to the line. So they're going to have a lot to worry about. It's case. It's like your best 11 is like, look, there's Arsenal, City, and there's Liverpool. There's that 3, and they're 10, 15 points better than everyone else. The next best 11 in the league is Tottenham's.
Okay.
That's where now whether you play that way, it's another story. But like I said, you showed last season that you could beat everyone else from 7th down. Mm-hmm. So it's just a case of replicating that, and then getting a couple of. Because you didn't finish far behind Villa off the top of your head, was it?
No, a couple of points.
So you don't need to do much. It's just a case of, like you said, so you spent a lot of money in the summer. And the problem I had with the money that you spent in the summer is that, did it make you better?
No, it didn't.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It's like you could have been on this podcast for ages.
Yeah, but it didn't Archie Gray's going to be.
Sorry, go on.
No, Archie Gray, I think, is going to be really good, but Archie Gray needs to be playing for Leeds right now.
Yeah.
He needs another 50 games under his belt. He needs another season to grow up and put a little bit of meat on those shoulders, and play week in, week out. Then he can come into the middle of your midfield and do running. But like how often is he going to play this year?
No.
If Sarr's fit, Bissouma's fit, and Bentancur's fit,
and
Porro's fit, he's not playing. So you spent 45 million on that on the bench, and he can't afford that. We can, because we've got our 11 is there. Now we're like, okay, if Rice is gone, we'll have Marino, and then of course, Marino goes in, shoulder tackles one, that breaks his shoulder. Yay. Calafiori gets a calamity of an injury, but stuff like that happens. But we have 8 centre backs that can all play across the back four. We've got Jorginho, who is still a very good at attacking defensive midfielder, if there is such a thing. And we've got Nwaneri, the young lad who can play. Yeah. Oh yeah, but
how old is he now?
33, 34.
He's older than that.
No, he's not. No, he's
Isn't
not.
he? He
Like
seems to be
1990, something like that. I think he is.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Jorginho is born December 91, so 33.
But no, I think that you're right. The thing with Spurs is that we have signed a very good 11 for 2026-27. But by that point, Romero won't be around.
Yes.
And maybe one other. So it's I think that was the frustrating thing for me, at least. It definitely was that. Yeah, we bought well, but we didn't buy well for now. We didn't really improve things. We got younger, and there were lots of Spurs fans who saw that Højbjerg played 30-odd games for Spurs last season, although mostly off the bench, and think, well, Archie Gray can do that, or Bergvall can do that.
No, he can't.
And it's just, well, yes, but
Bergvall can, Stephen.
Bergvall. No, he's very good. He is.
He's going to be a baller.
He reminds me of Odegaard a little bit.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, less of a twat because he plays for Spurs, but yeah.
No, but that's not, like I said, Odegaard. What I said when we bought Odegaard, he's very good, but he wasn't defensively strong enough to play in the Premier League. And now 3 years, he's one of the best pressers in the world.
Yeah.
He's learned what Kevin De Bruyne learned at City, where it's you can have all the ball skills in the world. If you don't run, you can't play centre midfield in England. And if Bergwijn can figure that out, if he can play 10 and run, there's your number 8 for another 10 years.
Yeah.
But he needs game time too. The same way Odegaard, we got him out of Real Madrid. The first thing we did was say, play. Play. Saka, as soon as he got anywhere near the first team, play. It's only now we're getting, 3 years on, we're getting the rewards from such a process. It does take time, and
that's just the process.
It's working for us. Well, it's worked. Well, apart from winning stuff, which is a lot of it, I agree. But,
yeah, well, you'd be
apart from the small matter of actual victory, we're winning.
Here's one for you then. Spurs wise, do you think that we're going forwards under Ange? Do you think that he's the right man for the job from an external opinion? Because there are, and I'll context that by saying there's probably the fan base isn't 50-50, maybe 60-40 on Ange. I think, would that be fair, HG? There's doubts.
More than that. I think it's only like 70-30 is the minimum, I would say.
There's definitely doubts about Postecoglou and his tactics. And I've been very critical myself because I think he is almost kamikaze in his approach sometimes. And we're the masters of our own downfall because we just can't defend. We let goals in left, right, and centre. And the reason being because we push so high up the pitch, it just leaves gaps. And like I said, we're reliant on one defender. You need 2 Mickey van der Vens in those centre backs. Much as though I think Romero's an amazing defender, speed is what we need, as well as a good player. What's your perspective?
You're asking him, but if you look at the best teams in the league, they are all defensively sound. The difference between the top 3 defensively and everyone else last year was 30 goals. I mean, it's crazy. So, Spurs are set up to attack, and we want to outscore the opponents, and that's great, for Spurs as a club and what we want to be. But you won't win anything, if you can't defend. You might get lucky in a cup competition, but Spurs have been that in my life. I don't really care about that anymore. I want to see Spurs be a team that wins 19 out of 22 games.
Yeah.
Right.
And the money you spent in the summer should have led itself to a little bit more on-field progress.
Mhm.
If you know what it like we bought Odegaard, and then we got second in the league, and then we looked at the team and we went, right, what do we need? We need a world-class defensive midfielder. How many are unavailable? One. How much is it going to cost? An arm and a leg and a couple of kidneys. Okay, here you go. And we got mocked for it. And it's like, that's an incredible price. And it still is an incredible price. But we are miles better with Declan Rice in the team than we were the team. You know, the team that finished second last season is miles better than the team that finished second the year before. Same result, but miles better.
Like I don't remember points wise, but I'm sure you will. Like did last
we were about 7 or 8, but like just defensively we were miles solid.
But this is what I mean. Is like because I feel like your first title challenge, you were the side that faltered a little bit, but were really exciting. And then last year you weren't anywhere near as exciting.
No,
but I was much more worried that you were going to make it last year because you were like, we're not going to slaughter teams 4 or 5-0 at home.
No.
We might, but we're not going to. But what we want to do is make sure we don't lose those games. We don't get turned over. We'll happily take a boring 2-0. 5-0 at home doesn't matter. And so like it's obviously you have to be a solid defensive side, and Spurs aren't. And I mean, the people who think that Ange isn't really worried about that, well, I don't agree with that. But it's not his goal. His goal is to outscore teams.
Yeah.
If
he doesn't have, even at Celtic, he never had a plan B. Like his plan A was, and he won everything at Celtic. But unfortunately, a lot of decent managers will win a lot of trophies at Celtic.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing the shell of a club at Rangers and no one else, really. Yeah. So, in the end, when Celtic were in Europe, he played the same way, and they get thrashed, especially away from home. Ajax put 4 past them, Leipzig put 6 past them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were an abomination away from home. And that was always his one criticism at Celtic, where it's like, there's sometimes we just wouldn't mind a 0-0 away from home. Nice, boring, dull, low block. Thanks very much. We'll take a point, go home. Now, God knows if there was a club that needed, exactly as Mr. Hoddle says, he needed someone to come in and actually play attacking football after the dross that has been served up in that stadium since it was built. Like Conte ball, Mourinho ball, that you couldn't watch it. And I didn't blame you for standing up against it. Where it's like, no, we're paying hundreds, if not thousands of pounds every year to be asked to watch this shite. So yes, you're playing more attacking football, and yes, there's more risk, but at the same time, I'd rather finish 4th or 5th playing this way than finishing 4th or 5th playing the way Conte played. So it is progress. It's just a case of, can Postecoglou maybe just learn a lesson or two in just holding back, especially away from home? Because what you need is a marquee result. I know you beat City last year, but you need to, you need someone to come into Tottenham Stadium and get thrashed. Like an Arsenal, if you say Ange is 70-30 right now. If Tottenham win 4-1, he's not 70-30 anymore.
No, quite.
So that's what he needs. He needs that.
He'll have a statue.
But that's what he needs, in my opinion. He needs a Liverpool, a United, a City, an Arsenal, or do it away from home, even better, where you can say, "Oh my God, look at how well we played. We made the opposition, who are really good, look like children." That's what you need. That's what Arteta has been doing over the last 18 months, where they're beating Liverpool, they're getting results at City, where we're like, we'll take a point. And Arteta's like, that's grand, no bother. Here's the Maginot line on the outside the penalty box. We're taking 0-0, we don't care. And everyone's like, oh, you didn't play a game of football. We're like, we don't care. We needed a point at City. We took it. That's the next level. And whether Ange is that man, who knows? But look, you're a better side now than you were last year. Well, you were a better side than you were 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You play better football, apart from down the right. But I certainly think that where would you rather be, you now or United?
Oh yeah, we'd rather be us for sure.
You were Chelsea.
No, but the thing is, like, it's weird. Like, I I would take. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say this. I would take Chelsea's squad. I don't
Yeah,
think
no,
the
I
squad
would.
is as
Oh,
bad.
yeah.
On the
Yeah.
basis they bought literally everyone. I mean,
Yeah.
It's
You couldn't
true.
go
I
wrong
just,
with it.
yeah,
Unless
I
you're
definitely.
Chelsea.
I don't want to be United, but I feel like United are one managerial change from actually having a pretty good idea of what they want to do. It's the
They've
manager
been
that's
that
clueless.
for 15 years.
Yeah.
You know, and now they've just posted a loss of 114 million.
Wow.
Like, good luck getting rid of that next year.
Yeah.
You know, if FFP is still there, which remains to be seen once the City case goes through. But like I said, you've got a good young team.
Yeah.
It's not a great young team. It's a really, really good young team. It just needs that. Like I said, it's like what we did with Rice. It just needs that one world-class player to come in and go, right, now we mean business. Problem is, I don't know who that is. I don't know who's affordable, if you know what I mean. Because there aren't that many out there at the moment that aren't at a big club already.
Yeah.
Like this is the problem everyone's having, especially with buying defensive midfielders. Everyone wanted one. What happened? You know, United spent 50 million on Ugarte, who can't pass water.
Yeah.
Like he's really good at getting the ball, but he cannot pass the ball at all. And they're asking him to play the Dutch side. Like it's, you know, there's just times where you just got to be right. Okay, it's like 65 million on Solanke.
No.
When Tony eventually went for 40.
Mm-hmm. I think where Spurs are concerned, like, you know, when we had a good young side 10 years ago, right, 2013, 2014, and we had, you know, I mean, Vertonghen wasn't young at the point, but still we had
that was a great young time with Ali and Young Son and etc. Yeah,
but they you know, we were fortunate enough to get some world-class players in their early 20s, which is relatively similar to what you guys did when you went and bought Odegaard and Ben White and everyone else. Like, you bought people in their early 20s, and we bought people in their teens that may have played a season of senior football, so they're 2 years away from that, right?
Yeah,
and that to me is the issue. Like, Eriksen had played 3-4 years at Ajax, like winning Dutch leagues and Champions League football and playing almost every game, joined Spurs basically because he knew he would play. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come, because that's always been Eriksen's thing. He wants to go somewhere he's going to play. And so Spurs could have said to players, hey, like, we had gaps 2 years ago and we filled them with Van der Ven and Vicario and whatever.
Yeah.
And we had probably 2 or 3 gaps as well this year where we could have said, hey, like, you know, you'll come and you'll be part of something. And we didn't go for the right age group. We went for ones that, as you said, Stephen, are 50 to 100 games away from being what a club the size of Spurs actually needs, right? Like, we're not Wolves, and we're not a team that is looking to establish themselves and be a stepping stone. And it feels like Spurs have decided, no, we want to attract the best young players, but those players won't want to be at Spurs for 10 years.
You want to be a rich. I heard you describe. I forget who said it. You want to be like a rich Dortmund.
Yeah.
But you can't be a rich Dortmund, because Dortmund only exists to sell players. Like their idea is, we will get the young lads in, we will give them all the game time they need, and hopefully 1 or 2 of them break through. Yeah. You don't want 1 or 2 to break through and sell them on. You want 1 or 2 to break through so you can keep them.
Yeah.
You know, like, you should be shopping at Dortmund instead of trying to be them. And just like that, when you spend 40 odd million on Archie Gray and 60 million on Solanke, and you're like, there must have been someone just available. But if not, then, like, frankly, Raheem Sterling would be great for you.
Jonathan David was the name. That was the one that was linked to us, you know, heavily. And, you know, he's a speedster. I have him on FIFA all the time. I famously say, you know, he's quite clearly got something, because he's highly ranked in FIFA.
Just one thing. I feel like Spurs this summer decided, hey, look, we're struggling for club-grown / homegrown players. So if we buy them before they turn 18, then they will be club-grown at some point. Like, we will use them. But, you know, 3 to 4 years down the line, Bergwell's like, great, I'm club-grown for Spurs, but see ya, I'm off somewhere else. So, like you can make those signings, but you had to make some for now, and we just didn't. And if it's, you know, 65 million on a player who has had one good season and could be something great, okay, it's defendable. But it's not, like, I'm not looking at that signing and thinking that's exactly what Spurs could have done. They could not have made a better signing, because we don't have an owner who's willing to go out and spend the money that Spurs might need, and so you have to be smarter with it. The idea that Spurs identified Solanke at the end of last summer and then waited until the middle of August before paying the release clause.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, like thickos do that, right? Not people that you expect to be the best, one of the best at their job, and they understand how the system works. It just was like, oh well, he's available now. He was always available.
He'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to actually having a selection process go, right, he's our number one target. We're going to focus on him.
Ange says in his defence, Solanke was the number one target, and I've made the case, Stephen, numerous times for Ivan Toney to come to Spurs, but ultimately he wanted the salary, and we wouldn't pay it.
No, we were
and the reality is, it's salary that is the difference between Spurs and the big clubs, the clubs that are competing.
Isn't your wage bill higher than ours?
No.
I doubt it.
Miles smaller. I'd like to welcome someone who knows. I mean, it's like, since we did a show together, John has gone. He studied at Steve Diver's church. He's read cover to cover FFP. He understands football finance inside out, back to front, and sideways. John, welcome to the show.
Hello, old man. How are you?
Old man?
I say that I'm the oldest person on this stream, and I probably look like I'm the youngest, don't I?
I don't think so. No, I think I'm.
Oh, the cockiness!
Tell you what.
Hold on. Hang on. How old is Mr. John?
48.
Answer on the postcard.
Maybe
60. Is it 60?
47.
47.
Oh, I've been top trump. Yeah,
I'm 42. So
I'm a sprightly 41.
Oh,
I know you spoke about this a while ago. There was King Hoddle particularly asked the question, and this has been around a lot today. The reason Fernandes can't be charged by the FA, but Bentancur can. Apparently, Bentancur's offence took place, although it was on Uruguayan TV. He hadn't actually been released by Tottenham for international fixtures at that point. I don't quite know the timelines. So
he was a Tottenham player at the time.
FA, whereas Fernandes was on international duty at the time, so FIFA have to deal with it. And that's the situation.
So Declan Rice was kicked in the air, but because he touched the ball and moved it 3 inches, it's a second yellow, basically.
Stephen, I'm fully with you. It is a yellow, but it's never given. So unless they're going to do it every week now, it's just one of these stupid things they pull out, which normally would happen to Spurs, to be honest, because we've had these so many times, these sort of stupid things, and we just want some consistency with these sort of things. If you're going to do it each time.
Can we just make sure that all our players do any media stuff in international breaks? Right? They when they're on Spurs' time, then no interviews, no, and then when they're not on Spurs' time, say what you like, lads, because we don't want to send you to South America.
Look what happened with the England media this week. No one said a thing. So what happens? Well, we can't have a lad from Birmingham not singing the national anthem. That's highly unpatriotic. When I saw the phrase Birmingham-born Lee Carsley, lads, come on, that's reaching. That is trying to stir shit in an empty bottle. That is, he's never sung the anthem in his life. He never sung the Irish anthem when he played for Ireland. And now here he is, like I said, as English is, and he's like, well, I just don't sing the anthem. But that's the media for it. They had to blow something out of proportion. And like I said, Fernandes has gone under the radar so much. Bentancur didn't. And there doesn't seem to be any half-decent reason why.
I mean, Carsley played for Ireland, so I don't see why he would sing the English national anthem, especially in Dublin. That would just seem extreme.
Yeah. Although the gas thing is, for everything about reputations, you know how many arrests there were in city centre in Dublin after the England game? Saturday night.
33.
Zero. Big zero. Yeah. So the work they've been doing is
changed, haven't they?
Sorry?
Times have changed.
Yep. They went to the Temple Bar and not a word said. Lads just having a decent night out. No different to rugby or cricket.
That's lovely. I just want to call this out, Jack. You're a wrong caller. The Arsenal wage bill is not miles away. Jack's been on the source today. He's been throwing all sorts of stuff around the WhatsApp group. I don't know what's wrong with him. What's gotten into him? He's got the spirit of an 18-year-old in him today. Yeah, maybe he's been injected. I don't know. But I think you'll find that when this season's accounts come out, I am absolutely right because.
Yeah. I mean, Spurs only have like 4 players on over 100 grand, and one of those is Timo Werner. I mean, like, it's
completely forgot about him.
Well spent.
Completely forgot about him.
I think
well spent. Well, you weren't worried about him, Stephen, off the bench. Super Timo, Turbo Timo.
And like you, he'll be on my FIFA team when FIFA 25 comes out next week. Like he'll be the first lad on it because he'll be like 600 coins with 93 pace. But like
no.
And I thought it was a good side in January. I thought that he's bound to succeed somewhere. He'll get time, but again, he loves finding a dead alley.
He's basically what 5th choice right now, and the one who is 6th choice is our star 17-year-old that every Spurs fan wants to see get minutes. So you're just making it more difficult for him to play even in the Europa League.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like Spurs' squad and the way they use their squad. Can I ask one thing? I know this is off topic a little bit, but like Stephen, Arsenal's squad isn't that big either, right? You might have like 8 centre backs.
Yeah, we're stretching a little in centre mid. We could probably do with another centre mid, and everyone thinks we need a number 9. But
are you worried about the season then? Like with the way I mean, you've got a few injuries now, which may not stay the same, but like with the amount of games coming up.
As long as Marino comes back and there's no lingering effects from his shoulder and Calafiori is only like a knock on his calf, we're fine. It's like I said, it depends on who gets injured. If Saka gets injured, we're screwed. We don't have there are very few right wingers in the world better than him anyway. And to expect Raheem Sterling to play anything like he did at City after 2 years at the Chelsea finishing school. It took us a year to get to get that antivirus software working out of Kai Havertz.
Yeah.
It's to do the same for Sterling's going to be tricky. Martinelli's on and off, Trossard's on and off. Like again, there is no star striker. What we miss really is just that someone like Son, who when you're not playing well, one chance, one goal, bang. That's what we miss. That ability to just get a goal out of nothing. We did it last year with corners and set pieces where we were unbelievable. We were getting, top of the league with that. But just in those tight games, just to give the ball to, like I said, a Son who could ping one in from 25 yards. That's what we're missing. But if everyone's fit, we're at worst second. If with 3 or 4 injuries, we're going to if this squad doesn't finish 4th in the league, then Arteta should. I know he's just got a new contract, but if you don't finish 4th in the league with our squad, you're doing something very.
I don't think anyone doubts Arsenal for top 4. Maybe we should. Maybe we should tell everyone how terrible they are and how rubbish they are without their captain for the next 3 months.
Like I said, even missing Rice and Odegaard, we're still going to have like our midfield and front 3 are going to be, Jorginho, who's still a really good player. He is slow, but he's still a really good midfielder. Partey, who shouldn't exist as a human, but look, what can you do? And Havertz is number 10. And then up front, it'll be Martinelli, Trossard, and Saka. That's not bad. That like I say, you got Sturdy on the bench, Jesus is on the bench. We've got the one area, our version of Mikey Moore, basically. And then if we need, if we need a defender to play in as DM, Ben White can do it, Justin Timber can do it, Calafiori can do it, Zinchenko can do it. Like we've got a number of players that can play 3 different places. So that's where our strength is. The fact that Jorginho comes in as our backup DM as opposed to your backup DM or anyone else's backup DM. Like Man City won the league with Calvin Phillips as their backup DM. You're not going to get perfection everywhere. You're not going to be like Chelsea in 05-06 where if Drogba misses a game, we'll bring on Shevchenko. Like that's not going to happen. So we're all right without spending 100 million on someone. What can we do?
So it's not necessarily the numbers, because like Spurs fans will complain about the numbers because we feel like we're a bit short. But I think the reason we complain about that is because we know that if we miss 2 or 3 of our better ones, we're getting Timo Werner and we're getting Brennan Johnson and we're getting people that maybe we don't even want at Spurs.
Yeah.
Whereas
Like I say, if we miss Saka, Sterling comes in at right wing. If we miss Havertz, Jesus comes in at striker. If we then Trossard and Martinelli basically rotate left wing by themselves, there's 6 good options.
Yeah.
Like they are 6 legitimately quality options. And would I have loved to have seen us go and get Nico Williams in the summer? Of course I would have. Perfect. Then
The Forest defender.
but no, if we could have got him for 50 million for his release clause, we would have been that would have been. Then I'm looking at the squad going, we should be winning something with it. It doesn't become a hope; it becomes almost a, if we're not winning anything with this squad, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't want to leave Bilbao. Barcelona couldn't get him out. No one could get him out. He said, "No, I want to play with my brother, Phil Bilbao, in Europe. That's what I promised the club." I did. I did that. So sometimes players' wishes like that. We said, "No, I want to play at home for a year." You're like, okay. It's Zubimendi turned down Liverpool for the same reason. Sometimes you don't get who you want. So, I'm happy with where it is. Is it?
By the way, it's not that I got bored. It's not that I got bored of you talking.
No, that's next year's, is it?
This is John's just loaded this. This is 23-24, is it, John?
Yeah, Planet Football. This is from. I just stole it off their website.
I mean, they're missing the number 6 actually, a bit like us. Ha! Oh no, 6. Yeah, they're the wrong way around.
We're above. Yeah. Why have they done that with Villa? That's weird.
No idea.
Just force a habit.
But either way, we're a good 50 million shy of Arsenal. So Jack, bullshit.
And since then, we've probably got rid of Perisic, who was on a fair whack, and Ndombele's gone, although we paid him off. But still, like that, some of our bigger earners that were wastes of space have gone, and Perisic was sadly injured. He wasn't a waste of space. But so
the majority of teams have lowered their wage bill. That's been the plan for most teams this summer, and we are not. We're definitely on that list.
Just trying to get onto PSR like everyone else did.
Basically. There we go, John. You've been watching the show patiently. What are your thoughts so far? Can I get your Spurs predicted 11?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we don't know what we'd assume. Obviously, he had a knock. Ange may make it, but if we assume he's not going to make it, Bentancur. I mean, Bentancur, Kulusevski, and Maddison would be quite an attacking midfield, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. But sometimes we play better like that. I remember HG mentioned it a few weeks ago. The Aston Villa game last season that I went to, we had a really attacking team out because we had no defensive midfielders, and we bossed it until Matty Cash took out Bentancur on his first start again. We were absolutely, we should have had about 4 or 5 goals easily.
And I feel like I feel like our wingers that game were Brian Hill and Brennan Johnson. I mean, we were like, we've only got attacking players left. Let's play them, and we played really, really well.
But that's why a lot of us think that Rodri is going to win, Ballon d'Or, because look at the role he plays for Man City. He's usually got Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne ahead of him, playing as 8s. Yeah. That's not a defensive midfield, but because he's able to cover the ground, they are able to play 2 really attacking centre midfielders. And if it's not, if it's not Bernardo Silva, it's Phil Foden. If it's not Phil Foden, it's Kovacic. As long as they've got Rodri behind him, they're grand. If Rodri's not there, they're toast. So it's that way. You need if we all want to play 2 attacking 8s. But without a 6, you can't. And Bentancur is good, but like I say, he probably needs another 3 or 4 months of running under him before he probably feels his knees back to where it was. It's the Bill Simmons rule. Like if you do your knee badly, it usually takes the amount of time you miss, and you double that before you're back to where you were. And we're probably still maybe a month or 2 away from Bentancur properly being at 100%. So. It might just be once he's at his best, then you might be thinking of Kulusevski or Odegaard at 10 or Bergwijn at 8, and because you've got proper cover. Until then, it's just a waiting game.
The thing is, Maddison's probably been deeper in a lot of these games than Bentancur in some of these. He's been very deep, taking the ball off the defenders at times. So, and he probably needs to be further up the pitch. But I think it will be Kulusevski, Maddison, and Bentancur. Good chance, or unless Basouma's fit. Oh, we got Sarr as well. I might want to put Sarr in for the legs. I'd hope he could put Odegaard back in I'd like to see Son try going on the right wing occasionally, because the number of times he's cutting from the right and scored left foot in the top corner, could play on either wing, but he always wants to go on the left, doesn't he? I think Odebear's probably more effective on the left. So, or just switch them over during the game. I'd like to see that. And obviously, Solanke hopefully will be fit and will play up front. I don't know if Richarlison's going to he'll be on the bench probably and probably play 10 minutes and miss a chance if he's even fit.
I think Richarlison is out completely. He's not even available.
Oh, is he?
No.
Good to say. As far as Arsenal goes, obviously you've talked about the midfield. Jorginho's the one. If we let him have time on the ball, he'll just keep pinging the ball behind our back line for those Arsenal forwards to try and run past us. So we've really got to get on top of him. And in the 2-0 game 2 years ago, when Hugo threw the ball in the net, Partey no one challenged Partey because we were sat so deep. Obviously, we're now the complete opposite. Any of us could have played that role that day because it was so easy for him. So if you can keep on top of, most games are won or lost in midfield generally, aren't they? So if you can keep on top of those two, we can control the game, and then it's up to us to take our chances and not have terrible crosses from Mr. Johnson or Mr. Werner. Hopefully they'll come on in the 80th minute when Arsenal are tired and we're 3 or 4-0 up. But I can dream.
And Johnson will bury a hat-trick in the last 10 minutes, and HG will have to eat all his words. We wait for it.
I've got a bet on with a mate about Johnson this season that if he, I think it was 10 goals in all competitions, and I said he wouldn't do it. And he was like, oh, no, he will. I was like, no, I don't think so. So far, I've enjoyed every game because I'm one step closer to a chicken dinner. But, it's just, I genuinely think he could be an effective player. I just don't think that he thinks he can. It's almost like, oh, this level's a bit too much for me, which is crazy because when he does do well, he is effective. It's just it seems to be all in his head rather than anywhere else.
He reminds me a little bit of Theo Walcott.
Yeah.
In the sense that when Walcott didn't have time to think and he was instinctive, he was legitimately brilliant. Mm-hmm. He had that yard of pace, but he was always a striker with a yard of pace. He was like a poor man's Michael Owen at the time. And when the ball goes through and the goalkeeper's running and he doesn't have time to process it, outside the foot, inside the foot, bang, bang, goal, happy days. But then we played him right wing, and you'd give him the ball, and he'd look at the defender, and it's like a horse, just completely startled, going, what do I do? 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 Ball's gone. Because when he's asked to think about it and make a decision, couldn't do it. But when he was asked to be instinctive, he was brilliant. And it seems as if it's the same with Johnson, where it's like, if you give him one option, he'll do that really well. If you give him two options, he'll freeze.
I would agree with that. I always feel that Johnson needs the ball in space, and if we're playing a high press, he's never going to get that. We are not good enough to play those little dinks around the corner so the winger can run on and then just have time. We haven't got there, so it's a struggle for him. But if you want,
good for Conte.
Yeah. Well, no, the thing is, if you want a winger to actually have the skill to beat someone, he doesn't have it. It's the same thing with Sessegnon. He didn't have it. He had all the pace in the world, and Sessegnon was much stronger actually when he played football. I mean, he was injured most of the time, but when he played football, he was on the pitch and a presence. Johnson's never really been that. He kind of skirts around the game, and you'll see him. It's almost like the opposite of a referee, right? If you don't see a referee, you know he's done well, and if you don't see Johnson, you're like, oh crap. But everyone knows how I feel. I won't go on, but it's just it's a shame because it does feel like it's mental with him. And then if he actually just put himself out about a bit more, he would be a better use to the club.
Okay. Well, look, there's other fixtures this weekend. We'll pile through them. Southampton, Man United, Brighton, Ipswich, Palace, Leicester, Fulham, West Ham, Liverpool, Forest, City, Brentford, Villa, Everton. That's a foregone conclusion. Bournemouth versus Chelsea. And then, obviously, Newcastle versus Wolves on the Sunday. So, to be honest, it looks like a good week to put an acca on because a lot of those games, I think, are fairly predictable. Do you agree, John?
Yeah, I mean, the only caveat is international break. Sometimes you get some odd results after the international break, depending on, You remember when we won under Nuno? We won those first 3 games and went to Palace, but we had 7 players out. And we ended up with Tanganga playing centre back, and he got sent off when we got smashed 3-0, didn't we? And Palace hadn't won at all; they hadn't even scored before that game. So you do get these weird results. But I agree. Most of those games we could pretty much call now quite easily if we wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Which we don't.
So we all think Southampton are going to beat Man United. Then is that what we're saying?
Yes. Which is why you should now run to your bookies and back United.
And bet on Man United.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. My only advice is never back the early kickoff. Here we go. So the run of games that for Arsenal, you're not happy about this, are you, Stephen?
No, not particularly. Those first 3 are delightful. With Odegaard out, and just what you want with 5 or 6 carrying niggles from an international break. Spurs away, Atalanta away, City away, and then it gets a little bit easier after that. But it's just the number of games. Like 3 days, 4 days, 3 days, 3 days, 3 days, 2 days, 4 days, international break, Saturday, Tuesday. So it just never ends. So.
It feels like it's getting spicy now, doesn't it? You once you pass that first international break, the games start to flow and we build into a tempo, I think.
Yeah, but which is why you want, if we'd had Bolton if we had Leicester first, then Atalanta away, and then City away, and then Bolton, and then Tottenham, I think we'd have much rather that, because it gives you 4 or 5 games to get into, like you said, a rhythm. Spurs immediately after an international break, anything could happen. We've seen it plenty of times, but like I said, where you look at those games Arsenal have, it's where do you rest players? Like Bolton in the League Cup, obviously, but then you're playing 3 days against Leicester. Then you've got Paris Saint-Germain. I know they don't have Mbappe anymore, but they're still really good. Southampton, we rested players there 2 years ago and just about threw away the league. Bournemouth is always tricky. The Nets, and then Liverpool.
So what we're really saying, Stephen, is your title challenge is going to be over by Saturday, the 2nd of November.
Unless the City case is wrapped up before that, yes.
I mean, the thing is, I will say this: if Arsenal get through those games, considering they had Villa away first up, and then it's Spurs, and then it's City, and then I saw Newcastle there. There's a bunch of really tough away games to begin the season.
If we're within 6 points of City, after that Newcastle game, I would take that.
Yeah,
right.
It's weird, like last season when everyone was happy that you got that 0-0 at City, and I was sitting there thinking, actually, no, this was the time where you really needed to go for it and try and get the win. Yeah. This time around, it's all about make sure you don't lose.
Yeah,
because of the games you're in, like that City game. Take the 0-0 now. I would agree with you completely. So it's it'll be fun to not watch because I don't care about Arsenal that much. I'll check the results. Yes. But otherwise, Birmingham, Bergamo's a lovely city. You'll have a great trip.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Like I said, it'll be a great trip. It's just the fact that the team is really good. Now they've sold Coop Miners, so for 50-odd million. Like thanks Juventus, but so they might not be the team they were, but at the same time we're going to
still be good. Yeah, they'll still be good.
And we're playing 3 days after a North London derby. So
and is this North London derby for you? Is it make or break for the season? Does it set the tone? If you lose this, which hopefully you will, 4-5-0, if you lose this on any spectrum, does it completely derail your season?
I think if they lose it but play well, like if we lose it 2-1 or 3-2 or something like that, and it's a good game, we lose because of referee shenanigans or a VAR or something like that, and then go and beat Atalanta, it won't be so bad. It's if it sets off something. If we lose to Spurs, then the Atalanta game becomes a big one. Even though there's 8 games in the Champions League, and if you win 3, you're grand. But if we lose that, then go to City and then lose that, there's your crisis. That's where problems start to happen. So it doesn't depend on the Spurs result per se. And now if they win it, the opposite is true. If we win it, then that's the momentum starter. Then you can lose the Atalanta game and think, well, you've won the more important one, get a draw against City, and then suddenly you're like, okay, we're bang in this. So it's it obviously you want to win it, but if we lose the Spurs, beat Atlanta and drew with City. After the City game, I'd be happy.
I mean, this is it.
so
Like, you spoke earlier about when do Arsenal drop players. Well, looking at this week, the Atalanta game is by far the least important, right?
Yeah.
Because with 8 games, you've got 4 home games. You win all 4, you're fine, right?
Yeah.
So it to me, it definitely feel like, look, obviously Spurs away is important, not just for the league, but also because it's local. The City game is the biggest game of the season, right? City away, like you have to go full strength for that. So like that Atalanta team, like why not? Why not play, like, make sure Trossard starts, or make sure that Kivior plays a game at left back, or Zinchenko, whatever. That would make more sense to me. But
that's when the squad comes. That's why when Calder said earlier, am I happy with the squad? It's like, well, you've just named quality players there. Like Kivior might be the worst player in the Arsenal team, in the Arsenal squad. And Kivior starts for at least half the Premier League sides.
Yeah.
He's a good player. He's not world class, right? Like that. But
I've got Tommy AC though. He's pretty shit, isn't he?
He's all. I mean, he was keeping Ben White out of the team before he got injured, and Ben White's been very good right back over the last year and a half. So it's one of those ones. Again, if your 2 worst players are Tomiyasu and Kivior, you're not doing too bad. Like, I'm old enough to remember Mikael Silvestre playing as Arsenal centre back, and being first choice for like 3 months. So if we've got like multiple internationals that can't get in the team, like I said, if Jorginho is our worst midfielder,
he's crap.
He's not crap. He's
crap. He's crap.
But he would be our weakest.
If he's put under pressure, But if he's given time, he's not. He can pick a pass.
Yeah, but any top half Premier League side is putting him under pressure. Surely to God, he's too slow. He's old. He's older than HG. He can't get around the pitch. We should be absolutely dominating him in midfield. But anyway, I've got a slider. This is our next fixtures. So Goons, obviously, Coventry City. Just found I got a ticket for that. So that'll be an interesting fixture and interesting.
I hope your partner's not watching, Caller, because she doesn't know yet.
Hi, Becky. Yeah, interesting to explain that to her as well.
She knows
yeah, don't worry. There's absolutely zero chance whatsoever she's watching. So there we go.
Totally sending her the link.
Fred,
if you'd like to attend Caller's funeral, it will be live streamed here on the live. It's Tottenham channel. You can click live and subscribe to make sure you don't miss it.
Brentford home, Karabag. Excited about that because Leon might come. So I'm going to try and get down for that one, which again will require further explanation. City away, Kos away, and then Brighton and Hove Albion. Then the
United away, not City.
Sorry, United away. So it's actually not that bad a run of games, is it?
Those last 3 are.
Those last 3 are
all the way.
Well, no, Man United is shit.
But they tend to beat us at United. I mean, they didn't last year, but
Ferencváros. I mean, is that a bad away game?
Ferencváros.
Yes.
Ferencváros.
You sound
French. Do you know what it means? It means Francis Town.
Okay.
Franktown.
And are they any good?
I think they're at the top of the Hungarian league. I did check, and they've won their first 4 league games.
Sounds bad. The only one of these that I'm worried about is Brighton, to be honest.
Yeah, because we got thrashed there last season.
I think they're good, and we struggle at the Amex. I mean, we struggle a lot of places away. But, I think Brighton are actually going to be the surprise package this season from the way they've started. So I think that I worry about that one. I think Man United are in disarray. I genuinely do. Yes, they can beat us, but I think the level of performance will be good. Not worried about that French team. Karabag, couldn't care less. And Brentford, I think we'll beat them at home. And Coventry, we should beat them, but we'll probably play the kids and lose.
Yeah, penalties. We'll lose on penalties at Coventry. That is.
I'm not bothered about the League Cup anyway. It's got 3 handles, as I've said multiple times.
I tell you what, Calder, if you leave after 88 minutes, we'll probably win. So make sure
I'll do it. Don't worry, I'll do it. I want to skip. Do you know how bad the traffic is coming out the Ricoh Arena on a Saturday? It's horrific. So I will probably leave early, I would imagine, just to manage expectations. Right here, right now, I'll declare it. There we go.
Did Puskás
Great
play for
question.
them? I imagine so. I mean, I think they are the biggest club in Hungary. The stadium's not huge, but like historically, Ferencváros is the team of Budapest. I know that Honvéd in the past, but
I think off the top of my head, I think he played for Honvéd.
Are you
He did
going
play
to
for
that one,
Honvéd.
HG, by the
He didn't
way?
play for Ferencváros.
Yeah.
okay.
Are you going to the Ferencváros one?
I have plans. It's not that far away. It's only about 3 hours, so I definitely want to, but I will not say publicly what is happening.
I endorse this comment.
Cock is the epitome of arrogance.
Yeah.
Love it.
David has got you spot on, hasn't he?
The
Yeah,
very
yeah,
definition. But David, it is all for show. It is all for show.
No, he was telling us earlier he is the most humble person he knows.
And some fixture changes. Villa Sunday, love it. I love this ropey league. Look at these Sunday fixtures I can get to. Amazing. Ipswich at home. I definitely want to go to that one. I need to get a ticket for a friend to that one who's an Ipswich fan as well. So reach out to me if you got one.
Hang on. Don't get tickets for Ipswich fans. What are you suggesting?
If you can get me a ticket in the away end, let me know. City.
That is my birthday weekend, so I'll hopefully go to that one.
Oh, nice. City on the 23rd at the Etienne. Yeah, well, I mean, that's always an interesting fixture. And then, Fulham on the 1st of December. So I'm loving it. I could get to a lot of games this season. So it's good, actually. It's really good. But most importantly, I want to know what your score predictions are, guys, before we wrap this up. So I'm going to start with our guest, Stephen, who's going to obviously say that Arsenal are going to win.
1-1.
Okay. So I
think he'll score first, play well. We'll get a goal from a set piece, and then the last 20 minutes will be dull as all hell. That's that. I think very much Arteta's looking at this week and just wants to get through it. So he might just go right, point at Spurs, point at City, play like as HD says, maybe play the kids at Atalanta and just get through it. Just make sure everyone's safe. Get as few injuries as possible and go from there. So I don't expect it to be that enthralling, unfortunately. I love it.
Unleash the Romero.
I will unleash the party. Yeah, that's
I don't think we want to see that kind.
No one does.
No
one does exactly.
That's a disgusting thought.
Yeah, but I think it'll be 1-1 and rather uneventful, unfortunately. If this was like November, December, then it could be something really good. But I think just with the timing of it, injuries, etc., I do think both managers will look at this and go, right, we might take a point and just get going. Make sure we just it's like I said, it's much bigger game not to lose than it is to win, I think.
Okay, John.
I don't think we will ever just take a point. That's not the way we seem to play. I mean, Newcastle last game was a prime example.
So we are, mate.
Yeah, I do think Arsenal are going to sit deep and just try and soak up and hit us under pressure. They're going to make it really difficult for us, and we're not the best at breaking teams down. But I'm going to go. If it wasn't for the Rice and Odegaard, I'd have probably put Arsenal to win this game. But I'm going to go Spurs win. 2-1.
2-1.
2-1.
Scorers?
Oh, bloody hell.
Son and
Romero.
Son and Romero.
Yeah.
It's pretty good money to put on a Spurs defender scoring because since Porro's got one, Romero's got one. Like our defense aren't bad. But
I actually highlighted on the Tutoring podcast this week. I think Porro's a danger man. I really do. HG, your prediction?
1-0 Arsenal.
Oh, don't say that.
like 1-0. Like,
Homer.
Arsenal defense is their strong thing, right? They went to Villa and eked out a win. They weren't great in that game, and Villa had their chances to win it, but Spurs don't take their chances either. So if you're looking at it, 1-0 Arsenal, probably Martinelli in like the 25th minute or something like that, and they'll just hang on and get the result they need. As I don't want that to happen, but I am.
I don't think we'll not score. Why? Because I think it's a North London derby, and generally, if you look at the track record of North London derbies, we usually do score.
But the only reason we scored at Newcastle was because Dan Burn stuck one in the Gallagher. Like, that wasn't going in.
It was going in.
No, it wasn't.
It was going in. It was saved.
Yeah,
The keeper saved it. And
but that's the point. But the point, the keeper saved it, so it wasn't going in because he saved it. Like Dan Burn put it over the line, no one else. So yeah, it's awful, but I wouldn't be surprised.
It's happened in the last couple of games we've played in the new Tottenham Stadium where we've gone ahead twice, and then the 2-0 we won. Aaron Ramsdale turned into Peter Schmeichel for a half, basically, and had his best game. And then we were 3-0 up last year and barely won. So, like, and with that was with the best defense in the league. So
it's a weird thing. Like, I didn't watch that game. I haven't ever really seen that game. I've seen the highlights. That's it. So I don't know what that game was really like. But I just
we were probably better in the first half, but we're 3-0 down than we were in the second half when we were 2.
We were the side that offered a lot of pressure, a lot of attack, and then conceded on the break or at set pieces.
Well, two set pieces, and we do, Touchwood, seem to be better at set pieces so far. On the
that was that horrific. We'd committed everyone forward. Saka just gets a long diagonal pass, doesn't he? Runs. Ben Davis is there, I think, if I'm right. I still have nightmares about it, trying to front him up, and obviously almost slips on his arse, and it goes in the arrows it into the bottom corner. Easy goal. That's the kind of shit that scares me when I make my prediction, which I'm going to now. I think that. What did I predict on the podcast last night? I said my heart says like a 3-2 win, but my head says a 3-1 defeat, because I think the problem is for Spurs is Ange tactically is outclassed in this league. I'm sorry to say, he hasn't got the players to make that system work, and we commit so much forward that we leave ourselves vulnerable to that diagonal Saka pass from last season. And that hasn't changed. Like, nothing has changed since then. I can completely see Saka scoring a couple of goals for Arsenal. And I'm going to try and jinx the game. Obviously, I'm praying that we win. But I'm going to say a 3-1 Arsenal win, with my heart saying a 3-2 Spurs win. First goal crucial. If we get it, I think we'll charge on. I genuinely do. But I think if we go behind, we're in a lot of bother.
I did see a stat that like Spurs' record under Ange when we score first is extremely good. Right? So yeah, fingers crossed that one of their midfielders puts one in his own net rather than one of ours.
Yeah, let's hope the heart is right and not the head. But we shall find out. We should be back Monday. We will have a star-studded panel. I think Gibbo's in there. So yeah, okay.
He's the stud. He's the stud of the star-studded panel.
Well, he's the farmer, actually, isn't he? He's like, all right, how you doing? I've been in the field mowing combine harvesters and fitting windows.
When are you coming back on, Cameron? That's what we want to know.
It's been a while since I saw your beautiful bald head and phone.
He's in a sad mood. He's in a sad mood, Cameron, because his AFL team lost last night in their playoffs, so they can't win it.
I mean,
who's his team?
Hawthorn.
Oh,
I mean, is there a team that is there a sport that's worse than American football? You found it, Australian football.
No,
congratulations.
Hey! You do not know what you're talking about. Kick, run, catch is bloody cool.
Yes,
I'll have a look. But
follow Geelong. We made plays for them.
I've got to be
your mate plays for Geelong.
Yeah, Zach Toohey.
You know him?
He's from Geelong. Yeah.
That's my team.
You two can definitely talk past the show. I'm going to close it now. Look, get behind the team Sunday. I'll be there in the stadium. Will you reach out? Let me know on the socials. My Twitter handle's there. Get behind the team. We can do this. We can do the Arsenal. We can win 3-1. We can beat the scum 3-1. I believe in Spurs. I believe in Ange. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Halfway line.
Stephen cannot say, come on, Arsenal.